Oh, hello, welcome. Hello there. I'm Kat Miller from Amplify Your Influence. Welcome tonight. So glad to have you joining me. I am sharing tonight 5 top habits of high performing entrepreneurs, and I'm super excited to get stuck into it. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how to become a more successful entrepreneur. I've been studying the differences between successful and non-successful entrepreneurs and really what those differences are. So reading, learning, studying, and I really want to be able to help, inspire, support this community and really being able to take more action, take inspired action, action that is aligned to your values and it's going to help you get to where you want to go, help you get to your vision. So welcome. Great to have you here. Love it if you could give me a hello in the comments box so I know who you are and so I can say hello to you. Welcome. I can see that you're on here. So just drop me a hello, your favorite emoji, give me something in the chat box. It does actually really help with the algorithm as well when there's some engagement here. So don't be passive, be active. So I'd love it if this is a little bit more of an interactive session. Those of you who turn up every week, you know that I like to prompt you with questions, that I like to interact with you, and that I like to ask you things and get you to write things in the comments so it's not just a monologue. So drop something in the comments and say hello. So tonight I'm going to be talking all about habits of high performing entrepreneurs, specifically 5 habits that I think are 5 of the most important things. And I've been looking a lot, really diving deep into the work of Brendon Burchard, Brian Tracy, Brooke Castillo, who else? Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. I've been studying a lot of these guys for a long time, particularly Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn over 10 years, Tony Robbins probably about 20 years, and really looking at what are the things that separate the successful from the non-successful. And some of you know I used to do bodybuilding, and when I did my first bodybuilding competition in 2006, I was obsessed with learning about the champion mindset, what makes champions. And I had this bodybuilding coach, Joe Stewart. Shout out Joe if you ever watch this. And she was really hard on me. She kicked my butt, but I said to her, I want to win. I want to win. I don't want to do this for the fun of it. I want a trophy or a medal. So she said, right, okay, here we go. And so I started listening to, back then it was like probably CDs of champions and what is that champion mindset. And I got really obsessed with that. And I thought I was only ever going to do one competition. I ended up doing 10 different competitions because it's, I mean, who knows, when you start competing in something that's a little bit addictive. It's kind of like when you get a tattoo. Does anyone relate to me when you start something and then you think, oh, I want to improve my time or improve my score or get better? So I ended up competing every kind of year. And the last competition I did was when I came to Sydney, which was in 2013, was my last competition. So throughout those 8 years, is it 8 years? 2006, 7 years, I really studied the champion mindset. So really, some of these principles are drawn from successful athletes, gold medal winners, not just gold medal, not just Olympians, but actual gold medal winners. And I've really just consolidated them here into what I think are the 5 important things for us as entrepreneurs to develop if we want to be successful. These aren't like the usual habits of I don't know, getting up early, joining the 5 a.m. club, working smarter, all of those types of things. These are more ways of being. Like for successful entrepreneurs, it's their habits, their modus operandi, you know, the way that they operate in their life as principles. So here are what I believe are 5 of the top habits of high-performing entrepreneurs. Number 1, high-performing entrepreneurs constantly think about their best future self. They constantly think about their best future self. I like calling it the BFS, the best future self. And this is something that successful people do, is they take themselves out into the future and they think about who they're becoming. And when you believe that with feeling, it becomes your reality. So they start acting like that person that they want to become, not thinking about what they want to have or what they want to do, but who they want to be. They spend a lot of time thinking about that person that they want to be. If you believe you're meant to be great and be successful, you'll press through to your goals. Nothing will stop you. But if you believe that success is luck or fluke, or some people just have it and some people don't, then you will be disappointed and you'll just keep that cycle. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So successful people start acting now in the present time like their BFS, their best future self. So if you think about words that might describe your best future self, what's your BFS like? And maybe you want to think of your top 3 words. Maybe you want to be brave. Maybe it's courageous. Maybe it's aspirational, ambitious, confident, playful, organized. Like, what are those aspirational words that you feel like they move you, right? That you say these words and you think, yes, I want to be that person. Whenever I go out into my future, which is all the time, I'm constantly thinking about future Kat and what she's doing and what she's like. I always get the word organized because it's something I've got to really be intentional about, is being super organized. I don't feel like it's a natural gift. It's something that I've got to train within myself. So I just see her as being super organized and very calm and being on top of things, and being very relaxed and having fun and being playful. You want to choose the words that make you feel something, where you actually really believe it. Have you stopped lately and really envisaged that best future self, that person out there in the future that's waiting for you? Because right now you're building that person. The person you are today is a result of everything you've done up to this point, all the seeds that you've planted in your life. Everything that you've done. If you look at your health right now, it is a reflection of how you used to view yourself in the past, right? If you look at your bank account right now, the finances sitting in your bank account is a reflection of who you used to think you were. And so it's all related to your self-worth. If you look at your relationships, are they thriving or is there conflict? It's all related to how you see yourself, your identity. So a few things to living into your best self. First of all, think about how you've been in business over the last, let's say, few months. Think about how you've been in your business and ask yourself, is this the person that I see myself being in the future? Do I want to be this person that I'm being in my business in the future? And if not, how would my BFS, my best future self, how would they act? How would they feel? How would they sound? How would they behave in the future? And then we can start acting like that now, right? So if you think about those words that you want to be like and the way that your best future self would be handling things, what would they be saying to themselves? What would other people be like around them? What's their life like? This is what high-performing entrepreneurs do. So I'd love to hear from you. Hi, Karine. Hi, Carolyn. Great to have you here. What are some aspirational words that you have? I'd love to hear from you. Just pop it in the comments box. Even one word that you see as your best future self. What's one word that would describe that best future self? Pop it in the comments there. I've just come off a Zoom call, so I keep calling it the chat box, but it's actually the comments box. So is it like when you see yourself in the future, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as being a courageous leader, a fearless leader? Do you see yourself as being strong, determined, motivating, inspiring? Do you see yourself, like, what are the words that you see yourself as in the future? And if you're not behaving now like your best future self that you vision, now's the time to start acting like that best future self. And think about, how am I incorporating my values into my business? So right now, have a think about your best future self and how they are operating out of their values, and are you making decisions based on your highest values? Because that's what the high performers do. And you might know this logically, right? You understand the concept, and you might say, oh, that's common sense. But common sense is not always common practice. I want you to ask yourself, before you, let's say, turned up into your last meeting, did you actively think about how you wanted to interact with each person in that meeting? Before your last session, maybe you're a coach, before your last coaching session, did you think about the tone that you wanted to have when you turned up, the body language, the way you wanted to help your client feel? When you showed up on your latest video, did you set an intention for the way that you wanted to be? When you woke up this morning, did you set an intention for your day? I set my intention every morning. I've got a number of different places that I put it, so I write it out for myself personally. I also text it to various WhatsApp groups, and it just makes it really real, and it brings it top of mind. So setting an intention at the start of the day is a way of living into that best future self. High performers ask themselves, how can I be a better leader? How can I be a better coach? What do my people need right now? Who needs me to be at my A game? What does my tribe need from me right now? And they think about words of how they want to be. Maybe it's a thoughtful person, an appreciative person, respectful, empathetic, and they embody that before they show up on a client appointment or on a Facebook Live or in a blog post or even a social post. People can feel your energy. So high performers, they are not on autopilot, they're intentional. They're thinking about their character, they're thinking about their legacy, and they're looking out of today and into the future. So if you think about it, who are the people that you're serving in your community, and how do you want them to remember you? How do you actually want them to think of you? And I like to ask myself this, okay, the closest people to me, the people in my inner circle, my close friends and family, if they were to write something about me in 10 years' time, what would I want them to write? How would I want them to describe me? And how can I be like that today? How can I actually be like that? I'd want them to say that I was kind, that I was caring, that I was diligent, that I was thoughtful. All these things that I would want them to say about me in 10 years' time, I can start being that now. This is so exciting when you really start living it and when you actually put this in as a habit. Remember, I'm talking about habits, not just thinking, not just, oh yeah, that makes sense, but as a habit, as a practice. If I came to your house tomorrow and we opened up your laptop and opened up your phone and I said, okay, where in your diary or in your calendar is a commitment to your best future self and the habits that your best future self would take and the consequences of not following through on your goals and the benefits of following through, where is that in your laptop and in your calendar? Is it in there? And if it's not, it needs to be scheduled, because if it's not scheduled, it's not habit and it often doesn't get done. So thanks those of you who are sharing. Hi Moana, good to see you. Moana says consistent. That is such a powerful word as an entrepreneur, isn't it? To be consistent. When you're consistent, people trust you, people can rely on you, and it builds that loyalty where I'm not going anywhere. I'm showing up consistently. Thanks for sharing. Lisa. Hello, Lisa Jane. Good to see you. Lisa says calm. Even the word calm makes you feel calm. Carolyn says inspiring and courageous. Awesome words, Carolyn. Corinne says inspiring and confident. Love it. Josh, yep, so true. Little rocket launch. Love it. Thank you. All right, number 2. So we're talking about the habits of high-performing entrepreneurs. Number 2, and by the way, if you don't feel like you're an entrepreneur yet, remember that might be your best future self. So if you're still employed, maybe you've got a side hustle, maybe your job is your side hustle and you're building your empire. This is not just for entrepreneurs, this is for humans. I thought I would talk to entrepreneurs and kind of tailor it to entrepreneurs because this is what this group is all about, but this can apply to you in any stage of your life. All right, number 2 is high performers study and develop skills within their primary field of interest. They study and develop skills within their primary field of interest. Brendan Burchard calls this their the PFI. What's your PFI? Your primary field of interest. High performers don't draw a blank when you say, hey, what skills are you working on at the moment? What 3 skills are you working on, developing and practicing so that you'll be successful in 12 months' time? They don't give you a blank stare. They don't scratch their head and say, They go, oh, right, I'm working on marketing. So I'm actually doing a Facebook ads course. I'm working on my presenting skills so I can be more confident on video and I can show up and serve my tribe in a greater way. And I'm working on copywriting so I can be more influential in my content and move people to take action and inspire them to make changes in their life to give them a better life. Okay, boom, there's 3 skills that an entrepreneur should really be working on. Those are the 3 that I recommend that you focus on. Or maybe it's sales skills, maybe it's email skills, maybe it's technology, maybe it's Instagram. Like for you, what is it? And it's not a scattergun approach. It's not like, oh, I just need to get better as a business owner. That's like a chef saying, I want to get better as a cook, so I'm just going to read about every single recipe. I'm just going to start throwing every ingredient together. No, you want to think, okay, I want to master something. I need to be a specialist and not a generalist. So people who perform high have time booked out for learning. Like they book it out, they block it out. So have you got a block in your calendar put aside for learning? Specifically for growth, development, up-leveling. I do mine on a Friday. I also listen to books. I like listening to books while I'm cooking and driving and walking. Today I listened about 4 hours of listening, making notes. I was walking on the treadmill, making notes. Went out for a walk outside, sat there, made notes. Like I've been doing that since I got an Audible account, which was over 10 years ago. And it's been an absolute game changer because I was fortunate enough to read some incredible books when I was a teenager, like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Has anyone read that one? What else did I read? Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I got a whole CD pack from Tony Robbins. I got given it as a gift when I was in my early 20s, and that was a real game changer for me. And what I learned from some of these books, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, some of those grandfathers of personal development, is you've got to always be learning. So doing a course, doing an online training, reading books, listening to books, marketing, upskilling on maybe WordPress, Facebook ads, ClickFunnels, managing your finances better, developing better communication skills like rapport or listening skills, storytelling. Like all of these are skills that we can utilize in business, but we don't want to just read a book on business. We want to really master the skill that is in our primary field of interest, our main thing that we need to really move the needle forward in our business, not just, listen to something just because it's good, but be very intentional. High performers are very intentional about what they learn about, what they listen to. They don't just listen to any great business book or great personal development book, but they'll listen to books that are, okay, what's my current block? Where am I being held back? And what do I need to learn to go to that next level? Because when we get stuck, when we stop, attracting enough clients, or we stop making more money, or we stop growing our business, it's usually a skill that's missing or a skill that needs further developing, right? So high performers, they build this curriculum for themselves and they're actively engaged in it. And what's linking these blocks of scheduled time that they put aside is the desire to be masterful. They take it seriously. And they aren't scattergun learners. So what are you currently, what skill are you up-leveling in? What are you currently working on? I like having a skill that I focus on every quarter, and sometimes every month. I'll just focus on one skill per quarter, per month. So pop it in the chat box. What skill are you working on at the moment? And I'll know that you're a high performer if you know the skill that you're really working on and you can identify it pretty fast. If not, then now's your time, right? It's never too late. Just start thinking, what's that skill that's going to get me to the next level the fastest? So I'd love it if you can pop it in the chat box. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, number 3. They are solution-minded, not problem-minded. High performers are solution-minded, not problem-minded. So they spend the majority of their time thinking about solutions. Instead of focusing on the problem, they're focusing on the solution. Instead of focusing on what they don't want and getting super clear on what they don't want, oh, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be overweight, I don't want to be, I don't know, whatever. But they spend time thinking about who they want to be, right? So it is linked to that future self, but it's focusing on the solution. So when something bad happens, they don't get stuck in disappointment, blame, resentment. They just straight away think, okay, what is needed? What is needed here? What is the solution? And that mindset can become a habit. So as soon as something happens, it's a growth mindset. As soon as something happens, entrepreneurs think they switch on. Like as soon as COVID hit, the entrepreneurs that are successful switch on and they say, I'm built for this. I was wired for this. The entrepreneurial mindset is about facing challenges, doing it your way, getting resourceful, getting creative, and coming up with creative solutions. And if we want to come up with creative solutions, we need space. We need spaciousness in our life. We need to turn off the Wi-Fi. We need to get out into nature. We need to allow ourselves to really think on purpose, to be creative, and also trust our unconscious mind. Something that I do every morning and night is I write out my vision, and I write it as though it's happening. So I'm so grateful. I always start it with, I'm so grateful now that, and I start saying as though it's already happening. Or I say, I'm so happy now that, I'm so excited now that I'm a highly successful and wealthy coach because of all the effort I put into practicing and developing the skills. How many ways can I continue to become an even more highly successful coach? And I've been writing it out in a book since March, and you'll see here there's a whole lot of them here. So that's all the same one. It's just repetition, because then my unconscious mind will go to work and come up with solutions to match this identity. I'm telling it, because for something to drop from your conscious to unconscious, it needs repetition. So that's how your brain deems something important. If you just say it once, your brain's like, oh, you just said it once. It's not that important. I won't need to pay attention. I won't need to make that a habit. But if you're doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, your subconscious sees the pattern. Our subconscious is wired to see patterns. And because I've done this for 5 months, my unconscious mind is going to work to make that happen, to find solutions, find creative ways to solve the problems without me even having to, like, you know, worry and all of that. You know, it's a big waste of time. Lisa Jane says organization. Yes, me too. Love it. Carolyn, marketing. Nice. Thanks for sharing. All right, number 4. High performing entrepreneurs are intentional about their daily habits. They're intentional about their daily habits. And I've talked about this throughout the other ones, but you don't just become a successful person. You build it. You turn up and consistently take those habits, do those habits that build that high performing entrepreneur. So what are you building every single day consistently? Do you have a good solid morning routine? Do you have a good evening routine? And when you have those things in place, it frees up mental bandwidth because it's then on autopilot. If you think about how you brush your teeth and you don't even think about it. When you've got those habits in your life that are intentional, based on that future self, that best future self that you're going for, and you know that every day you're planting seeds and you're watering the seeds, you can trust that it's going to bloom into a beautiful tree, and your business will be like this beautiful tree with a solid foundation with roots that go deep, and that tree is going to provide shade and fruit and enjoyment and fun for other people and you, because you can trust that you're consistently doing those habits that you need to do. Every Wednesday, I don't have coaching clients. I block off my calendar and I just up level my business. I sit there and I upgrade things, and I tweak my website wording or my LinkedIn profile, or it's just all about upgrades. And I know that's not going to produce a massive result the next day. But if I do that every single Wednesday, it's a habit. I know that my business is, my brand is lifting. Everything is increasing and improving because of those consistent little habits. So I'd love to know, do you have any habits that you are intentional about when it comes to building your business? I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the habits that you do every single day, or maybe every week or every month? Like for me, turning up on this Facebook Live every Wednesday night for over a year has been a habit that has consistently brought in new clients, because every time I do a Facebook Live, someone will private message me or book into my calendar for a session with me. And so it's just those little habits that don't seem like a big deal, but they all add up. And these are what high performers understand. Lisa has a habit of coffee and a walk in the morning. I like it. It's so good to just get out and walk. So good. Grounding. Oh, I like your pun. Was that intentional? Grounding, having a coffee, love it. When I have coffee, I don't feel very grounded. I feel very hyper. I love that you have that walk and that coffee and that time to yourself. It's beautiful. All right, number five. High performers are intentional about how to be of service to others. They're intentional about how to be of service to others. And I can see a lot of you on here are very intentional with being of service to others. High performers care about the difference that they're going to make for others now and in the future. So they cater their day's activities on focusing on delivering those contributions with care and with heart and with enthusiasm. And this is how high performers talk. They talk about looking after people and paying forward into people's future. They know that the details of how they turn up and how they treat people and perform matter. And I remember as a personal trainer, I remember, because I was privileged to read all those awesome books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I remember applying those principles in my personal training business, and I received hundreds of testimonials of people saying that I'd helped them. And it was just such an honor, because I wasn't perfect, but I always really wanted someone to succeed. And I would always ask myself, how can I serve my clients with excellence and make an extraordinary contribution in their lives today? And I'm constantly asking myself that question, and I don't always get it right, but I don't dwell on the past. I think, what matters now? How can I deliver it? What do I want? How can I get it? And I want to add more value than other people do. And that excellence comes from an internal standard that you have, where you're thinking, how can I serve with excellence and deliver beyond what's expected? Not just get the job done, not just tick the box, but how can I surprise? How can I delight? You know, underperformers are always focused on themselves. Like, how can I get what I want today? But high performers are always thinking, how can I serve in valuable ways? They're not thinking, how can I get by with the bare minimum? Why don't people recognize me? What's wrong with Facebook? You know, blaming things or blaming people. You know, high performers, they always think they would take personal responsibility. They realize that every result that you have in your life is a result of what we have done. And we've got to stop blaming and living in denial and making excuses, but actually going, okay, I've got to get over all of that. People need my help. People are struggling and suffering. And I've got to stop thinking, okay, I don't want to turn up on Facebook Live. I'm stuck in my fear. You know, they go to work at those fears. They go to work at They go to work on those doubts, and they go at them because they want to be of service to other people. They want to help other people. So I hope those have really helped you. I hope they've got you thinking. I'm just going to recap them again. The 5 habits of high-performing entrepreneurs. Number one is they constantly think about their best future self. They constantly think about their best future self. Number 2, they study and develop skills within their primary field of interest. They study and develop the skills within their primary field of interest. Number 3, they're solution-minded, not problem-minded. Number 4, they're intentional about their daily habits. And number 5, they're intentional about how to be of service to others. How to be of service to others. So I would love to know from you, which one of these do you want to focus on? I'm sure there's one that kind of jumped out. And I'm sure that you have already heard this, but maybe it's brought it top of mind to you. So I want to know which one of these do you really want to focus on? Maybe for the next week or the next month, what is the one that you really want to focus on? And just pop it in the comments box. I'd love to read that. If you're watching the replay, just give a hashtag replay, and I'll come and check your comments afterwards. So I would love to connect with you and hear from you. Also, if you enjoyed this and you recognize that you want to develop your skills and your habits and focus on solutions and be more of service to others, I have a free live online masterclass happening tomorrow, Thursday the 20th of August at 7 p.m. that I think you will love. I'm going to be sharing how to get more people booking in sessions with you. I'm going to be talking through 5 key client attraction principles. I'm going to be talking a lot about the old way of doing business versus the new way, which is all about relationship marketing and the most effective methods that are working right now in the marketplace. I'm going to be talking about how to use online events to help more people at once and leverage your time. And what's the other one? Oh, how to avoid those costly mistakes that most people are making when it comes to getting new clients if they're not getting new clients. So I'm going to drop the link in the comments below. So all the details are there. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. So Lisa says, clears my mind. Nice. Carolyn says, meditation and journaling each morning. Such a great habit, Carolyn. It's awesome. So I've just dropped that link in the chat box there. So if you haven't already registered, just click on the link, check it out, see if it's something that you think you'd benefit from. It's completely free. No hype, no catch, just lots of value. I've basically taken the best of what I spoke about in my recent one-day workshop, and I've put it into just a 2-hour masterclass. So excited to see you there if you've registered. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.